Hey, welcome back to Cozy English. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Eric. We've got something a little different today, and I'm kind of excited about this one, honestly.
Yeah! So the idea is we want to help you figure out your English level. And instead of just talking about levels, we thought, why not actually show you?
Right, so what we're doing is starting at A1, the very beginning, and slowly working our way up to C1. We'll tell you when we switch levels, so you always know where you are.
Your only job is to listen. When things feel comfortable and you're following along fine, that's your zone. When it starts getting harder to follow, that's your edge.
And that edge? Honestly, that's where the good stuff happens. That's where you're actually learning.
So no pressure, grab something to drink, and just come hang out with us for a bit.
Oh, and this works best if you're around A2 or above. But if you're just starting out, stick around. The early sections will feel pretty familiar.
All right, let's go back to basics. This is A1. Hello, my name is Jennifer.
Hello, I am Eric. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
I am good, thank you. And you?
I am great. The weather is nice today?
Yes. It is sunny. I like sunny days.
Me too. Do you drink coffee?
Yes, I drink coffee every morning.
I drink tea. It is hot and good.
Do you eat breakfast?
Yes, I eat bread and eggs. Simple food.
I like eggs too. They are easy to make.
Yes, and they are good for you.
I walk to work every day.
That is nice. I take the bus.
The bus is fast.
Yes, and it is not expensive.
Okay, so that was A1. Really short sentences, super basic words. Hello, I like, I eat, that kind of thing. It's all just building blocks, naming things, simple actions, everyday feelings.
If that all made sense, great, you've got A1. If it felt too easy, that just means you're already past it, which is great. Let's step it up. This is A2. So Eric, what did you do last weekend?
I went to the park with my friend. We walked for about an hour and then got some food at a little cafe nearby. It was really relaxing.
Oh, that sounds so good. I stayed home most of the weekend. I was planning to clean my apartment, but honestly, I ended up watching TV instead.
Ha, that always happens to me too. I plan things and then end up doing something much easier.
Every time. So what'd you get at the cafe?
Just a sandwich and some coffee. Nothing special. But the coffee was really good. They had this caramel latte that I'm definitely going back for.
Oh, I love a good caramel latte. Is that cafe close to your place?
Not really. It was actually my first time there. My friend recommended it. She goes every Sunday morning.
That's so nice. I really want a regular cafe spot like that, somewhere that feels like mine.
You should find one. It makes the weekend feel so much better. Just try somewhere new one Sunday and see.
Yeah, maybe I will. I need a spot like that.
And if the coffee's good, you'll know. So, A2, the sentences got a bit longer, and we talked about past events. I went, I was planning, my friend recommended it. Oh, and one thing worth noticing, she goes every Sunday morning is actually present simple, not past. That's the tense for regular habits. Anyway, at A2, you can handle most everyday stuff. Shopping, plans, chatting about your week.
If that felt pretty comfortable, let's keep going. B1 is next. This is where things get a bit more personal, a bit more real.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about habits lately. Like, why is it so hard to actually stick to them?
Oh gosh, tell me about it. I try to build a morning routine every few months, and it always falls apart after one rough night.
Right? One bad day and the whole thing just collapses. And then it's weirdly hard to start again because you feel like you already failed.
And then the guilt makes you even less motivated. It becomes this weird cycle that's hard to break.
I read somewhere that it actually takes around 66 days to build a habit, not 21 like everyone always says.
66 days? That's way longer than I thought. No wonder people give up so quickly.
I know. And I think the real trick is making the habit so small it almost feels silly. Like, if you want to exercise more, just start with 5 minutes. That's it.
5 minutes feels like nothing, but at least you're doing something and you can always do more if you feel like it.
Yeah, Exactly that. Like, set the bar so low you literally can't fail. And then just build.
That's where I always go wrong. I aim too high, miss one day, and feel terrible about the whole thing.
We all do that, honestly.
I feel like, okay, this might be a weird way to think about it, but I think habits and goals are actually kind of different things. Like a goal is something you want to do, but a habit is more like who you want to be.
Oh, wait, yeah. Like, the goal is to run a 5K, but the habit is just being someone who runs.
Yeah, and once you frame it like that, like, it's about who you are, not just what you did today. It feels completely different.
Huh. I never really thought about it that way. That's kind of a lot, actually.
Okay, so B1. Notice how the topic got more personal? We were talking about feelings, routines, habits, stuff that's a bit harder to put into words. Grammar-wise, you heard things like, I've been thinking, and it's weirdly hard to start again. That's present perfect and more complex sentence structures. You also heard some natural idioms. Tell me about it. No wonder. Set the bar. At B1, you can actually talk about your life and your opinions in a real, natural way.
All right, B2 is next. Upper intermediate. The ideas get more complex, the words get more specific. This is where it starts to feel like real intellectual conversation. Here we go.
Can I ask you something kind of big? Do you think social media has fundamentally changed how people relate to each other?
Oof, yeah. I mean, it's complicated, right? On one hand, it's genuinely connected people who'd never have met otherwise. Across countries, across backgrounds, that's real.
Sure, but there's a trade-off, right? A lot of research suggests that even as people become more connected online, they report feeling lonelier than ever, which I find kind of paradoxical.
It is paradoxical. I think part of what's happening is that social media gives us the illusion of connection. You're interacting with someone's curated highlight reel, not their actual messy life. And over time, that starts to feel hollow.
And there's this whole pressure to perform, right? Like you're always presenting this version of yourself that seems interesting and put together. It's exhausting and it messes with how you see your own life because you're just constantly comparing.
Right. I think the more self-aware you are about it, the better you can navigate it. Like actually noticing when scrolling makes you feel worse and choosing to step away.
That sounds simple, but it takes real discipline, especially since these platforms are specifically designed to keep you engaged as long as possible. It's not exactly a fair fight.
No, it really isn't. And I think that's an underappreciated point. A lot of these behaviors aren't entirely our fault. They're the product of incredibly sophisticated design choices made by people whose entire job is to maximize your time on the app.
Which is a slightly uncomfortable thought, but also, in a strange way, kind of freeing. If the system is designed to work against you, you're not weak for struggling with it. You're just human.
And just knowing that, like really seeing the mechanism can be a first step. Once you understand it, you can start using these things more on your own terms.
Yeah, that's it. And honestly, digital literacy, really understanding how these platforms work, should be something everyone learns early. Understanding the system makes it easier to push back against it.
Yeah, it's like, you know how people say you should understand what you're eating? It's kind of the same idea. The more you know about how something works, the more control you actually have.
So, B2, if you followed most of that, you're in solid upper intermediate territory. The vocabulary was more specific, paradoxical, curated, highlight reel, navigate, and notice how we expressed opinions, not just, I think X, but things like, I think part of what's happening is, or in a strange way, kind of freeing. That kind of careful, qualified language, that's very B2.
And now, C1, the last one, advanced. It's still a real conversation, but the ideas get more layered and the vocabulary more precise. Here we go.
You know, I've been genuinely fascinated by the resurgence of analog experiences lately. Vinyl records, physical books, film photography. It almost feels countercultural at this point.
It does, doesn't it? I think it speaks to a broader tension between our appetite for efficiency and this deep-seated longing for texture, imperfection, and resistance. Digital perfection is, paradoxically, what makes people crave the crackling warmth of a vinyl record.
And there's something about the intentionality that analog formats demand, right? You can't skip a vinyl track without effort. You can't scroll past a page. There's a commitment embedded in the medium itself. The format shapes the experience.
Which is precisely why it resonates with people who feel overwhelmed by infinite choice. The constraint becomes appealing, almost liberating. In a sense, you've outsourced the decision to the object itself.
Right. It's a form of deliberate friction. And I think that connects to a wider cultural reckoning with what convenience has actually cost us, in terms of depth of experience, sustained attention, and presence.
I'd also argue that the nostalgia element is only part of the picture. There's a genuine aesthetic pleasure in these formats that digital simply hasn't replicated. The grain in a film photograph, the weight of a hardcover book, they engage the senses in ways that pixels fundamentally don't.
Yeah, and you see the same impulse elsewhere, right? Urban planning, farmers markets, handcrafted goods, the slow food movement. There's this whole ecosystem of intentional slowness taking shape.
Right, and I think it's worth asking whether this is truly a reaction to digital saturation or something more fundamental, a recognition that meaning often lives in difficulty, in effort, in things that resist being reduced to data.
Maybe that impulse to seek out slowness deliberately is itself a kind of sophistication, not nostalgia, but a conscious choice about what kind of attention you want to bring to your own life.
And that's ultimately what these choices signal. That experience has intrinsic value beyond convenience, that some things are worth the friction. And that was C1. Did you feel the shift? The vocabulary was more precise, resurgence, countercultural, deep-seated longing, deliberate friction, outsourced the decision, digital saturation. The ideas were layered, we built on each other's points carefully, and we kept qualifying and refining throughout.
So, where did you feel most comfortable? That's your level right now. And wherever that is, it's real. It took actual work to get there.
And if you were right at the edge, where you got some of it but started losing the thread, that's actually the best spot. That's where you're growing fastest.
So don't run from the harder stuff. Lean into it a little. You don't have to get every word. You just have to keep showing up.
That's the whole spirit of Cozy English. All right, quick recap before we go.
A1. Short sentences, simple words. I am, I like, nice to meet you. The building blocks.
A2. Past tense, everyday topics. I went, she recommended it, it was really relaxing. Real life conversations start here.
B1. Personal and a bit abstract. I've been thinking, it's a weird cycle, no wonder. Opinions and experiences said naturally.
B2. Nuanced discussion, paradoxical. There's a trade-off. It's not a fair fight. Complex ideas, said clearly.
And C1. Sophisticated and layered. Deliberate friction, embedded in the medium. A deep-seated longing. Language with real weight.
Wherever you landed, just keep going.
Thanks so much for listening to Cozy English. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone. Bye.